Hey, magical family. Today we're talking about non-resistance, what it means, and how to practice being like water in your daily life. I heard this quote recently, and it really changed my whole perspective of healing. It said something along the lines of, you know you're still on a healing journey when there's something keeping you from enjoying this present moment from the perfection that it is. And that really highlighted the resistance I feel on a daily basis of moving from project to project, getting the next client, moving into the next moment, never fully enjoying exactly where I am. So I've been asking myself, what is it exactly that's separating me from the present moment? And that's how I know that I'm still on a healing journey. The entire purpose of life is to make every moment a magical one, at least for me. So I wanted to make this podcast about non-resistance, the difference between positive resistance that actually moves us forward in life, and negative resistance that is just internally created, that keeps us blocked and stuck in these negative patterns and limiting beliefs. So when it comes to resistance, there's positive resistance that helps you grow as a person. Think of weightlifting, exercising, advocating for yourself and for human rights. And then there's resistance that is internal, that holds you back, kind of like an internal mind game. And this podcast episode is going to talk about the burdens we take on ourselves when we don't need to. That's what non-resistance is. Non-resistance is not about passivity or surrendering to our circumstances like helpless victims. Instead, it's a dynamic and active approach to life that involves meeting challenges with a calm and open mind, finding solutions without unnecessary conflict, and maintaining inner peace regardless of external conditions. This is the perfect episode for you if you find yourself easily overwhelmed by life, you're currently in a stressful situation, or you're feeling lots of frustration on a regular basis. Basically, you're just always met with unnecessary conflict and you're like, what is going on? It's actually you. It's happening internally. Maybe you're experiencing lots of conflicts within your relationships and your communication is just not going the way that you want it to. You're speaking impulsively and people are not understanding where you're coming from. I'll give you a personal example. In conversations, lately especially, I have been finding myself speaking more than I am listening, or feeling this bubble of explanation or wanting to explain my side of the story, cutting people off, telling them my perception of things, and realizing that's when I need to be practicing this non-resistance. So if you're feeling like you're resonating with any of this, you're probably being called to be more like water. And if you've heard of the new Chris Brown song, Bruce Lee, it is so freaking good. There's this beautiful quote from Bruce Lee that goes like this: "Be like water making its way through the cracks. Do not be assertive, but adjust to the object, and you shall find a way around it or through it. If nothing within you stays rigid, outward things will disclose themselves. So empty your mind, be formless, shapeless like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend." What I love about this is that Bruce Lee is pointing out that water can both flow gently or crash powerfully. And there's a duality that you should be gentle, but also capable of showing extreme strength when necessary. Think of water, it's persistent and resilient. It can wear down the hardest rock over time through continuous flow. So this teaching really shows us that resilience and perseverance in the face of difficulties is what matters here. Another person that talks about non-resistance is Florence Scovel Shinn from the book The Game of Life and How to Play It. It talks a lot about non-resistance. In that book, she says, if there's a part of you resisting something, then you always get what you resist, because what you resist persists and will grow in size. This is because we create what we think about the most. Energy flows where attention and focus goes. So if you think about what you're resisting, you're calling in more of that resistance. So we have to come to terms with what opposes us. So take a moment right now to just think about anything that you're currently resisting in the back of your mind. Maybe it's that person that you have to have a conversation with. Maybe it is the numbers in your bank account. Maybe it's a job that you really don't want to continuously go to, or a relationship you're really not comfortable with. Think of whatever it is that's opposing you and come to terms with that. Be non-resistant about it. What does that look like? It means accept what currently is within your control and without your control. What's within our control is leaving everything up to a higher intelligence. And I think that when we do this, sometimes we're forced to do this because circumstances are just so heavy that we're like, you know what? I can't do this alone anymore. I'm surrendering to God. That's what we always should have done from the beginning. We have to remember that there is a divine intelligence that knows so much more than we do. Often we get so consumed with the outcome and unfolding of things, and how are we going to do this? How are we going to manifest more money? How are we going to manifest the perfect partner? How are we going to manifest the perfect job, the perfect career? We don't trust in a higher power. We need to know that higher intelligence is working behind the scenes for our greater good always. We're not in this alone. We have divine guidance and we have help. So great affirmation for surrendering your will to God or to the higher divine intelligence is, I surrender to a higher power. I trust in the ultimate unfolding of things. I trust in the universe. So when we're coming to terms with what opposes us, we need to think about the feeling states that we're in. Usually what's opposing us is the feeling states of fear, guilt, shame, pain, or feeling hopelessly out of control. Recognize that you cannot lose anything that belongs to your divine right. Sometimes will and desire gets very dangerous because if you impose your will on something that isn't for you, you can definitely still manifest that thing, but there will be a karmic payment to that. So you always want to make sure that you are asking for something in your divine right. I'll give you a statement example. So let's say that you really want a specific house, or you really want a specific man, or you really want a specific amount of money in your bank account. Then you would say, Infinite intelligence, I really desire this specific house. If it is in my divine right to manifest it, then thank you, I receive that. And if it is not, then I receive something of equal abundance and of equal fulfillment. That way, if that house is actually for you, it becomes your divine right and you will end up manifesting it. And this is a great way of practicing non-resistance because you just surrender to a higher intelligence. You're like, thank you for working it out on my behalf. That's all I had to do was just trust in a higher divine power. Thank you. I want to get into different ways to practice non-resistance and to be like water, especially when it counts, when you're in those triggered moments, or even when you're not. Let's say that you just experience consistent resistance and you have no idea if you're holding on to anything. It's just your homeostasis to be in these feeling states of guilt, shame, fear, all of these very low vibrational energies. You're blocked, you have no idea why, and you need to clear these blockages somatically. So set the intention to do this, okay? Somatically releasing resistance is very powerful because the body keeps the score. Move your body, shake out all of the pain within you. You can't avoid or escape pain. It's always going to come back to the forefront in some way and remind you that you're not where you want to be. What you want to do is shake out wherever you are feeling resistance. Maybe just tap in, do a little body scan. This looks like closing your eyes and letting your third eye scan your body. Do you feel resistance in your throat chakra? Do you feel resistance in your gut? Do you feel it in your sacral chakra? Where do you feel this resistance? Once you have a little download, oh, it's in my left shoulder, you want to move that energy out physically out of your body. That's how you change the composition and spiritual makeup of your DNA and physical body. Now, in this book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, the author talks about feeling the way that you want to feel before you receive your specific manifestation. Let's say that you're trying to practice non-resistance within your relationship. Maybe you're fighting with your mom, or you're fighting with your siblings, or you're fighting with your partner, and you're like, what is going on? I want a better relationship. In arguments, you want to agree with your adversary quickly. Be undisturbed by them. Say, in your mind, none of these things are moving me. When there's no emotional response within you to an inharmonious situation, it fades away. It has to. It is law. It is vibrational law. It has to fade away. because you're not giving it an emotional reaction, because it's not moving you. You're being like water. Someone says something to trigger you, you're like, okay, that was the stimulus. My response can be a response. I can move like water. I can understand what you're saying. I can validate you. I don't have to get attached to what you're saying, right? I'm not going to eat your poison even if I don't agree with you. I will be detached from your perspective. I'm not going to endure abuse. I'm not going to be abused. I'm not going to be gaslit. I'm going to hear you and not react defensively. That's what we're trying to do here, is we're not going to react defensively or try to control the situation. Non-resistance within relationships, especially within communication, within conversations, is practicing empathy and seeking common ground and solutions that honor everyone's feelings and needs. Even if you might not agree with everything that this person is saying, hear them out, speak calmly, okay? You're not going to be able to practice non-resistance if you are holding on to the past and holding on to misunderstandings. A huge part of non-resistance is about letting go of the need to be right and focusing on nurturing, loving connections. If you feel that both partners are committed to growth and understanding in the relationship, then invest in that. If you feel like you are on totally different frequencies and this person is not changing at all, and you stick true to who you are and you express what you need and you express your boundaries and you express what you will and won't stand for, this person will have to fall away because of the law of attraction and the law of vibration. They quite literally won't be on your frequency anymore. So again, within relationships, try not to interrupt. Don't judge people while you're watching them. Really try to empathize with them and be like, what do they really want to feel heard in? And sometimes it's not about meeting someone with logic or staying stuck on their words and being like, yeah, but you said this. No, try to understand what they're emotionally portraying to you. What do they emotionally want to feel heard in? Once you just meet them on that emotional wavelength and you validate them and what they're trying to say, that's how you diffuse resistant relationships. Now, a great way to practice non-resistance in your daily life, especially if you feel like your daily routine is all over the place, is use segment intending. Segment intending is basically setting intentions for different scenes or moments throughout your day. An example of a scene is right when you wake up. How are you going to spend those first 10 minutes in bed? Are you going to meditate? Are you going to visualize your perfect day? Are you going to call in specific numbers that you want to hit, specific things that you want to do that day? How are you going to spend that segment of your day? Another scene is getting ready in the bathroom, then again at breakfast, then doing a workflow or going for a walk. How can you be very present in each moment rather than rushing through them or resisting what's unfolding? Especially for me, I'm like very meticulous with how I want to spend my day. So when change happens, I practice non-resistance by being flexible and adaptable. I have to embrace that too, because it frustrates me when my day's not going the way that I intended it to go in those first 10 minutes of the day. I also have a newborn and I have to remind myself, okay, non-resistance means adjusting to unexpected events without frustration, seeing them as opportunities for growth. And how do I do this? If something is, if there's a wrench thrown in my day, I'm like, okay, this is actually a blessing in disguise. Maybe I wasn't meant to create that video today online. Maybe I wasn't meant to go for that walk today because something bad would have happened. I'm always seeing the things that happen, the wrenches that are thrown in my day, as actually realignments. Maybe that's actually how the day was supposed to go. Because oftentimes I'll find that if I'm trying to force my will and manipulate it to the way that I intended it to go in the morning, the day I keep being met with block after block after block. So non-resistance is really, again, surrendering to the higher power, being like, you know what? I'm sure everything is working out in divine order. This can be abused though. You could definitely be like, oh, you know what? Maybe today's not the right day to post on social. Maybe today I don't have to show up again. And you could just keep that cycle going month after month after month. So you have to really discern whether or not this is the divine order and the divine plan, or whether or not this is your own procrastination and limiting beliefs coming up. And you can tell which is which if you feel guilty for not showing up. Chances are you were meant to. If you feel finally surrendered to the divine will and you're like, okay, you feel like it's a breath of fresh air that you don't have to show up, now that's very different. Now you're listening to divine guidance. I'm actually really loving the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, because it's basically a breakdown of the Bible through a spiritual lens. And the author, Florence Scovel Shinn, talks about how the Bible is really just the guidebook on how to break through subconscious beliefs. She talks about this affirmation and she says, whenever you feel burdened by life, the Bible's entire purpose is that Christ took on the burden of life so that you don't have to. So a great affirmation to practice is, I cast the burden of lack on the Christ within. And you can do this for anything. If you're not feeling abundant, that's the affirmation that you use. If you want to manifest a significant other, you say, I cast the burden of loneliness on the Christ within. You don't have to be lonely. Whatever you are feeling, you don't have to feel that alone. And so you can have that affirmation. I cast the burden of blank on the Christ within. And watch the floodgates of energy open up to you. And another way to practice non-resistance to optimize your daily routine is self-care. Prioritize it. Take care of your physical and emotional well-being. Nurture yourself with rest, healthy habits, and activities that bring you joy and relaxation. A healthy man wants many things. An unhealthy man wants only one, and that's to be healthy again. So if you find yourself having very many desires and you're going after very many things, consider yourself highly blessed, highly privileged, and very lucky because you have your health, and health is wealth. And finally, I wanted to touch upon how to practice non-resistance within your career, business, social networking, or just at your job. Make sure that you set boundaries for yourself. You want to prevent burnout and have a solid work-life balance. Non-resistance in professional settings includes knowing when to delegate, when to say no, especially to unreasonable demands, and prioritize your well-being. Have open communication with colleagues or employees. Non-resistance in the workplace is listening to different viewpoints and collaborating towards common goals. Solving problems creatively. Exploring multiple solutions without fixating on one outcome or feeling defeated by setbacks. I think that's the biggest thing is people experience resistance when they project their thoughts onto a situation and what they feel that situation should look like. So just remind yourself, I'm leaving this up to the Christ within. I'm leaving this up to divine intelligence. And if you're feeling frustrated in general and you have no idea how to navigate this, really take time for self-reflection. Understand the source of your frustration. It's been so powerful for me to just meditate, and I'm talking just 5 minutes of just pure silence. Go into yourself. Ask yourself, what is actually wrong with this present moment? And if that's not the right question for you, because we can always find answers to the questions we ask ourselves, then ask yourself, what is right about this present moment? And that's a total reframe that's very powerful because, again, your reticular activating system will seek out, it's a filtration process in your brain. It will seek out exactly what you're looking for. So look for what is going right in your day, in your life, with your body, with your health, with your friends and social circle and family. What is going right? This will also increase your abundance mindset. And once you seek out abundance, you keep seeing it and it's multiplied. Another practice is journaling. Write out your thoughts like nobody's watching. I know a lot of people, especially neurodivergent people who have like ADHD or autism, they feel like people are watching their thoughts in their private journal, which is hilarious. I feel like this, and I only realized recently, like, you know what? Nobody is going to read my journals, and if they do, that's their problem. I'm allowed to write my real thoughts, and like sometimes the thoughts are messy too. They're really gross because you're getting the garbage out, but it has to go into the journal. I mean, I literally wrote a hate letter to someone that I was holding a grudge against, and I had no idea that it was living inside of me, and I was like, I hate you for this, and I wrote it down, and at the end of it, I had a moment of gratitude for the person because I'm like, wow, that was just in my heart. Like, I don't even think this person thinks of me anymore, yet this was poison inside of me. So really use your journal like nobody's watching. It is therapy. Free therapy, and practice gratitude. Really, again, recognize the abundance from moment to moment. Look for the positives amidst challenges. I am starting this business, Astrology Self-Concept Academy, and I'm being met with challenge after challenge after challenge, and I'm understanding, especially because I've had so much business coaching over the last year, I'm understanding that that's the whole point. I would rather embark on creating my own business and meeting challenge after challenge than not be in the game at all. I love the challenges because it shows me I'm alive. It shows me that I'm actually doing something worthwhile. And I want to end this podcast off to remind us that life is temporary. Nothing lasts forever. This should free up so much energy for you. When you're more mindful, you're less stressed. You have better overall mental health. Your focus and concentration is increased. You see more clearly. Okay, your physical health is better. Your relationships are of higher quality. So practice that mindfulness and ground into your body. Remember, somatically release things because your body keeps the score. I also really love doing the 4-7-8 breath method. It's basically where you breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and breathe out for a count of 8. And you repeat this as many times as you need to. This will really get you into your body. We're really here to be like water. Water is such a beautiful, flowy, feminine energy, and it is very powerful. You can be a hurricane, you can be a whirlpool, you can be a calm, still lake, you can be a waterfall. Choose the different expression of water, but remember to change and adapt and flow with life. And let your problems and worries melt away by casting any burdens you feel to the Christ within. Because you deserve to be surrendered to life. And you also deserve to fight for what matters through non-resistance. So I hope this helped you guys become a little bit more non-resistant, and I'll see you for the next one.